All right, it's me, Charlotte 360, and I'm sorry that I've got this stream of light over here, but I just could not find a better parking space. I'm on my lunch break, but I'm filming this because we have to talk about the fact that today is Emancipation Day for Miss E. Chedin, because today CL is no longer bound by the chains of YG Entertainment. To be honest with you, this is a bittersweet moment for me, and it's a bittersweet moment for me as a fan of the group known as 2NE1. It's a bittersweet moment for me as somebody who obviously acknowledges the star power that is E. Chedin. And it's a bittersweet moment for me when it comes to kind of all the memories built up over the last several years and all of the missed opportunities since then. On the one hand, I think that any move towards freedom for CL is definitely a great move. I think that YG grossly mismanaged her career. I think that they did everything they can outside of literally like crowbarring her shins to handicap her. But at the same time, we wouldn't know CL the way that we know her now. We wouldn't have the picture of CL that we have in our minds now if it wasn't for the team at YG initially. There's a lot that CL has that's hers and hers alone. But, the team at YG, when they first introduced the public to her, they introduced her in a very powerful way. And it made her stand out in our minds almost immediately. And that's something that I'm willing to give them credit for. But now it's like when people think of CL, they think of lost potential. And that sucks because that's the way people have been thinking about her for so long that I have to wonder how she's going to recover from this. I feel like she's owed reparations, to be quite honest with you. I feel like the getting out of her contract is the least that YG could do because he literally owes her money for all of the things that she could have been doing that she didn't get a chance to do. Now, Mason, who is probably the biggest CL fan in my friend group, like him and Jade are pretty big fans, but I think Mason more so. He posted about it on his Facebook page, and somebody responded about how it's not YG's fault that CL is in the position she's in now and they didn't put her in the basement, and that person's obviously delusional. But one thing I will say about the situation is that I think that trying to make CL an English artist or an English language artist after the disillusion of 2NE1 was the wrong move. If I had to go back and pinpoint the one thing that I think went wrong in this whole thing, number one is the fact that YG still ran his company through those years. But number two is when 2NE1 kind of seemed like they were coming to an end. When, Minji had left and Park Bom was not being allowed to promote. At that point, the concentration should have been on CL's solo Korean album. Absolutely. And I say that because I think much like how BTS organically came into the US, I think if we had concentrated on CL's solo Korean album, which we know would have been a hit regardless because of all the goodwill she had in Korea, that it would have been so big and fans would have talked about it so much that it would have done the same thing that Blackpink did when they came to the United States. It would have been something like, people are talking about K-pop, people are talking about this girl from K-pop, let's invite her into spaces. But that's not what happened. Instead, they're like, we are focusing on English stuff. We are going to find people that we can pay to put CL in their sphere. And you can't force a thing like this. You just really can't. You can try, but you can't. As much as I've had to defend Super M over the last several weeks, it seems, the truth of the matter is Super M's only going to be so successful in terms of the general American Western populace because really Super M was created as kind of a niche gift to those people who are already interested in K-pop. And so with CL, to send her to America, for those of us who are into K-pop and have been into K-pop, it seemed natural. It seemed like it could work. It seemed like she had the best chance of anybody out of K-pop to really make this thing happen. But you have to look at it as somebody who has no fan base or organic come up in America in a in a music industry where Asian people really don't have that kind of visibility, it was always going to be uphill. And so to see CL come out with Hello Bitches, and then for them to shoehorn her into a bunch of Justin Bieber stuff, and then for them to shoehorn her into Diplo stuff, and it just seemed like she looked like an industry plant. And a lot of people in America don't like that shit. So it was the wrong tactic overall. Everything was wrong. And then the things that they did after Get Lifted were so late and so lame that it was just like, why are we even doing this anymore? Even if she has an entire English album recorded, why are we doing this anymore? You know? And I don't think it helps that at the same time that CL is floundering, you have Blackpink, and you've got kind of two baby CLs in the group. You know, it waters down the brand. So with that being said, it's just like, we're here. So it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet that it took this long to come to this realization. It's bittersweet that now we're having to like comb through the ashes to figure out where to go from here. But outside of the bitter half of that statement, the sweet part is now you have your opportunity to be who you were meant to be. Even if it's not about reaching the level of the success that you could have reached if your career had been handled properly, at least now you have the green light to pursue the things that you wanted to without that hand on your shoulder pulling you back from being able to move forward. So if I had to say what I see in the future for CL, I pray and hope it is a Korean full-length comeback. I hope it has nothing to do with America or Europe or any of that shit right now. I want it to be all her in Korea. I don't think that she should go to P Nation. A lot of people like go to P Nation. I don't see it. And part of that is just because I haven't been that impressed with what's been released from P Nation thus far. So no, I don't think you should go there. Actually, if I had to pick a label for her to go to that to me I feel like would be the best match for her, I really want her to go to Amoeba Culture. Okay, hear me out here, because there's a lot of you who are like, what the fuck? You thought I'd say AOMG or maybe somebody else. No. I would like her to go to Amoeba Culture. Here's why. I feel like Amoeba Culture is vastly underrated when people think of the K hip-hop R&B scene. I think Amoeba Culture would be great for her because I think that Amoeba Culture does something better than a lot of other people do, and that's the production side of things. And I think what she needs now more than anything else, she needs a really strong production team in her corner. Like, she needs a company that understands that it starts from the melody and the structure and the instrumentation. You build that up, and then whatever gold she's willing to lay over that is going to make it pop. Like, you can say what you want to, but if you put in an Amoeba Culture CD at any point in that label's career, it's always produced fire. So I feel like that's something that's really important. Also, Amoeba Culture has a lot of connections in the industry. A lot of really important people have left Amoeba Culture. Zion T has left Amoeba Culture, Crush has left Amoeba Culture, but they have a really wide friendship group. So like, they have Primary on the label, but they're friends with all the producers over at AOMG. They're friends with a lot of other DJs and like Groovy Room and those people. I think you pull all of them together and you create fire for CL. And that's something that I think that Amoeba Culture could do really well for her. And if it's not Amoeba Culture, then she needs to find a really good manager and take her talents to Lowen. Lowen, I think, is now called Cacao M. I think they would be great for her because they're known for being able to produce solo acts. They're really good with managing solo careers. That's kind of like their niche. And that's why I think that that would be a brilliant label for her as well, because they know what to do with one person on stage. And that's going to be really important in terms of the things that are outside of music, like going to variety shows, promoting yourself, trying to get the public to re-evaluate how they know you and what their relationship is with you. I see good things here. But those are the moves I hope she makes. And then after she's established herself as a really big solo, hopefully she will. After she's established herself, the next move I want to see is I want to see a miniature To Anyone reunion. It doesn't need to be an album necessarily. I think a song would be cool. But I want to see a reunion just to stick it to YG, to show him that the public was invested in the women, not the material. Because that's something that I don't think that YG has learned just yet. And I don't think he's ever gonna until you throw it in his fucking face. You know, and even then he might be like, well, they just like 2NE1 because of what I made of 2NE1. But he needs to see that, no, even if you don't have Teddy producing, even if you don't have the staff of graphic designers and costumers and makeup artists that we had at YG, the fact that us four women are standing on a stage and bearing ourselves to the public is what makes them love us. It proves a point that I have been saying all along, and that anyone who's been a fan of any group on any label has been saying. It's not about the label. It's not about the name of the group. It is about the people in the group. That is who we have the affection for. That's who we have the connection with. That's who we have the fondness for. And that's why I want 2NE1 to get together and do something out from underneath the umbrella of YG and just show the public, show YG, it was always about us. It was never about you. It was always about us. So that's what I see in her future. I'm pretty sure that none of the things I'm saying are going to happen, but that's what I would want for her. And more than anything, I just want her to be happy. You know, in the last couple of years, there's been criticism about her weight and how like shady and shitty the projects she's been involved with have been, how the production is cheap or the projects don't make any sense based on who she is as a person and as an artist. And I just want her to be able to be out there and do the things she likes to do. You know, if she decides that her real area of interest is fashion, then go do it, girl. You know, put out a makeup line. Everyone and their grandmother is doing it. Put out a makeup line. You and Cheetah ought to get together and do a makeup line. And Cheetah should be in charge of the lipstick section of the line. And you should be in charge of all the eye makeup and make that shit happen. You know, and then you can have like Guyan as your spokesmodel when it comes to like your eyeliner line. But yeah, I think that if she wants to do other things, this means that she can do it. And she doesn't have somebody that she has to run everything up in front of in order to be allowed to be who she is. And that is what this day is about. That is why it's about freedom. Because so many things she's probably wanted for so long and she hasn't been able to have them. So, you know, I just want to see her get what she deserves. Because she deserves more than what she got. For sure. So that's all for now. Thank you for celebrating with me. Stay blessed, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.